All right, hockey fans. I better say and Panther fans or Stu will be mad at me. He'll click off the and Panther fans. Hi, Panther fans. All right. So with me is Alex Puck Monkey. We're just gonna call him. We're just gonna call you Puck. That's beautiful. You get to have the nickname because I get my nickname is after my favorite movie, and your nickname you can actually be the object.
Yeah, I was like some rubber.
In your favorite. Yeah, you're a piece of rubber, and I'm a death shark. So, all right. So we just kind of want to, we're going to kind of try to make this a weekly thing. Now we've been lucky this week where there's been absolutely no news whatsoever.
Yeah, up until yesterday, there's nothing.
Yeah, up until yesterday, with the exception, obviously, everybody has talked. We already knew,
McDonough,
player injury and Marchment. His father passing away.
Yeah.
But the Panthers are just not. It's not been good, and it didn't change yesterday. It wasn't bad. We had a couple of things that the Panthers did. Now I'm gonna mention that a little bit, and I know Alex wants to talk about. There was a bunch of trades yesterday, and definitely some stuff to talk about there. But the first thing, let's knock the Panther stuff out of the way. News broke this morning. Luosterainen, we signed him to a 2-year deal. I've heard varying things, but Colby Guy answered my question and says it was 1.5 per and an average. So I'll trust his word there. And then Lucas Carlson on a 1-year, 2-way deal. I'm not sure what the financial terms were there, but between that,
cap it.
That's our cap. That's our cap space. That was it. That was the offseason. Unless we get rid of somebody, that's it.
Thousand, yeah. We just have a couple 100,000 now.
Right.
I mean,
right.
They didn't put Duclair and LTIR yet, but that's our cap
a good
space.
point. That's a good point.
We got our big RFAs. Mammon's gone. We know that. Heponiemi got signed. Lucas Carlson is here, and 2-way deal. I really, really like that. I mean, he played a good amount of games in the NHL, and 800,000 for a 6-7D is great. That's a great deal. He's young. He's not like he's an old veteran, who's going to decline. He's only going to go upward, in my opinion. And worst comes to worst, you send him down and you don't take his cap hit. Yeah, I really, really like that deal. And then Luosterainen, he's someone who can play in your top 9. Like, you look in the NHL, it's less about the top 6, it's more about the top 9 now. They mentioned that a lot yesterday in the draft. Gary Bettman actually mentioned he really likes the way the NHL going. He points at the Panthers. So look at them. Look at the Panthers scoring 4 goals a game. That's what he wants NHL to be. And we're focusing more on the forwards now. A lot of teams are focusing on drafting almost like Trevor Zegras in a way, very, very tricky type of players, almost like Patrick Kane's, very speedy, very flashy players.
Speedy, shifty, yeah. Right.
And Luosterainen isn't one of those. He's your average third line center. That's his roof, in my opinion. Third line center. Look at Lars Eller. Look at Lars Eller is he's always my example as the perfect third line center. He's defensive minded. He scored he had a really good start to the season. Let's just say that. He slowed down a lot, but he had a really, really good start.
He did have a pretty good start. I agree with that. On most teams, he's probably your third line center. Obviously, with the Panthers, he's our 4th guy because there's that guy named Lundell who
never heard of him. Yeah.
And the thing about it with the Panthers, I mean, we're loaded at center. Much like, and I don't want to get too off the topic, but much like with the Bobrovsky and Knight situation, where eventually you have to let Spencer Knight play. Eventually, Anton Lundell is not going to be a 3C. You know what I mean? But you got Barkov and Bennett sitting there, so that's going to be interesting. I like Luosterainen. I think that was actually my first thought was man, he'd make a great 3C, but there's no room for him right now, right? Yeah. So we'll have to see how that goes. Lundell's supposed to get in the gym and put some pounds on. So we're set at center. Center is
the least you don't have to worry about that.
Concerns. And don't forget, I mean, we still
and then you have Ryan Hart who could play center, and then Giroux, if we sign him, could easily play center.
Yeah,
we have great depth down the middle.
Yeah, a lot of good at did this against Tampa, but that's a different story. Don't get me started. We want. All right, so the draft is underway.
The Panthers made their pick just now, actually.
Oh, just now? We're getting it live on the tape.
From Jameson Olive, with the 93rd overall pick in the 2022 NHL draft, the Florida Panthers select Marek Ulsher, a 6'3", 198-pound defenseman, had 16 points in 61 games with the WHL Portland Winter Hawks last season.
Okay.
So he's a big guy. I don't know much about like the later rounds because I know like my first round stuff.
Right.
But like the later rounds, I mean, big body, I'm assuming more of a shutdown guy, just looking at his numbers.
Yeah, let's see, 6'3", buck 93. He fills out to about 210, 215.
6'4", yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be a big guy.
Yeah, that's a decent size. That's a decent size guy.
Like I really don't know much about him. Like he's not offensive minded as looking at his stats. I'm not sure what his ice time looks like, but that's the first pick. They didn't make any trades yet.
No. I mean, look, I know the Bobrovsky and Uyghur trade to Edmonton is coming. That's I've already gotten that straight from the puppets. So that's gold. That's coming. But you know, there's so much talk about the trades. You know, there was whispers yesterday of Uyghur and Ottawa, and all of that. You know, Stu and I talked about this yesterday, and you know, okay, so we signed Luciano, we signed Carlson, great, but even if you put Duclair on LTIR,
it's only a Marchment full.
Somebody has to go for Mason Marchment to be signed.
His name is Forney. I know you're not gonna. $5.2 million is a lot for a fourth liner. I mean, Paul Maurice will probably play him on the first line because that's the type of player Paul Maurice will love. But he's going towards the lower age of 30. Like he's turning 36, I believe, or he's 35 right now.
Yeah. I know. He's a young guy compared to me. What's the problem?
I mean, he plays like with his like a chicken with his head off. Like he just like hits everything that moves. Like
right.
I don't think we'll have next season.
I know that is the one name I'm the one that started bringing it up last year, and I don't want it to happen. I have a feeling it's going to be a different name. I have a feeling it's going to be a different name. I don't think that we can afford to lose his leadership.
And then what about Claude Giroux? He was a captain of the Flyers.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about captain.
Right.
You know, you already have Barco with the C. Barco, a captain without C could be Claude Giroux, or even Thornton if he returns next season. He is a captain and he's a locker room presence.
And then that's another
and cheaper.
Yeah. Right.
Like league men.
But usually, you know, you want your captain to be on the ice each night. But we'll see. Look, the Uyghur thing is that's really where the big decision is. I mean, because technically we don't have to sign Huberdeau. You know, the Huberdeau and Uyghur, if we give them extensions, it comes on after Yandel hit the following year. But if we want Mason Marchment on this team,
he's gonna want $3 to $4 million.
Somebody's got to go. It's just there's just not the cheddar there. And the thing with Hornquist is at that cap hit, I don't think even if we trade him, somebody's going to want us to retain half that salary. Nobody's going to take that salary.
Perhaps. I mean, he
has a modified no move
clause.
Teams.
Only 8 teams. I mean, if you want to say no Canada and let's say no Arizona, I mean, you can trade to Buffalo, Chicago. Like, you know, he fills in 8 teams. You could put him back to Pittsburgh. Who knows? Like Nashville.
Right.
Like, so there is a market for, and he's an easy trade deadline seller. Like if you want to trade him to the Habs and the Habs can flip him for a third later on, they can easily do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll have to figure out what he's got up his sleeve at this point because free agency starts on the 13th, I believe.
Yep,
so we got
5 days.
Less than a week. And, you know, Marchment is as close to a must with this team as possible. So
yeah, he's a great power forward. And if he makes any more progression, it's gonna be, I mean, his defensive he got Selke votes. Yeah. It's hilarious. Like Marchment for Selke next season. Like he's gonna have a revenge tour. He's gonna get 200 points and then he's gonna get the Selke, right?
200 points. If he can stay healthy. So
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about. I know you got a list of the trades that have gone on. What do you got? What are your thoughts, especially on? I know you wanted to talk about Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is in full blow up mode now. They trade their young guys such as Alex DeBrincat for 7th overall, a 2nd, and a 3rd. And Alex DeBrincat is a 40 goal scorer, and you get a 7th overall for a relatively okay draft compared to a lot of others. Like this isn't the 2015 draft. You're not going to draft like Mitch Marner, 7th overall type player. You're going to draft more like a second line player. for Alex DeBrincat, mind you.
Right.
He scored 40 goals twice. Those guys don't grow on trees.
No,
I
it's
just don't
like
understand.
no.
There's like one risk. He has his qualifying offer next season is $9 million. Big whoop for Chicago. Like, oh no, we're gonna lose Taves and Kane for $22 million. That's because both their contracts are expiring next season.
Okay.
So that's like $22 million. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to keep this guy long term and have him at his 30 years old, and then you're ready to contend with DeBrincat as almost like your captain.
Right. Yeah, they're making some very strange moves. You know,
but they make one bad move and then they have a good move. Like that Kirby Dach trade, he wasn't working out in Chicago. They drafted him 3rd overall in 2019. They rushed him 1 year too early, and it's not working with the Chicago Blackhawks. They traded him to the Montreal Montreal was more of a 3-way trade. Montreal traded their young defenseman, like 6'4", defensive type of guy, Alexander Romanov, and another pick, like a 3rd, to the Islanders for the 13th overall.
Okay.
So the Islanders got a defenseman, which they really, really needed.
Yeah.
I think they have a great top 3. You look at Pelech and Pollock, amazing shutdown pairing, and Dobson had 58 points as like a 22-year-old.
Jeez.
He was amazing. Like,
jeez.
Like, and nobody talks about him. No, he needs a contract too. So they're looking at probably Romanoff to be his defensive guy.
Right.
Because you look at Dobson, he was playing with Zdeno Chara, who is at this point he has to be 6'9", a 6'9".
He's just a sequoia.
Defense. Yeah, he's just like, he'll block the lane like that.
Right. Just stand still and get in the way. That's the only thing he has left.
Yeah. And I think that's an Islanders point of view of that. They finished their top 4 out, which is a pretty solid top 4 in my opinion.
Right.
They have Mayfield in the bottom pair and a spot. But besides the Islanders, then the Montreal traded the 13th and it's like a 3rd to the Blackhawks for Kirby Dach. So now Montreal is set down the center. They look at Suzuki, Dvorak, Dach, and whoever they draft now.
Right. Hopefully not Marchment. Although Marchment's not a center. I've heard a lot of Canes fans saying they want Marchment. So
Canes need to go for a superstar. I think the Canes going for Gaudreau or Forsberg. Canes, I think they're dropping Niederreiter. They're dropping Trocheck. They traded D'Angelo.
I know about Trocheck, but Niederreiter's a good player.
But they already mentioned that he's walking, and they already traded Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, to Philadelphia with Torts.
Oh geez.
Talk about guy. He's like Yandel. Like he has very, very bad defense. D'Angelo, he puts the points up like Yandel or Barry, and then look at it like his attitude towards the game. D'Angelo, at one point, he got kicked out of the game at the Panthers arena for shooting a rat into our net. Like when they threw the rats out, like 10 seconds before the game ended.
Right. Oh man. Well, that'll be the more send them all to Philly because that's going to be beautiful. Hilarious. That's going to be beautiful with
it's just like it's going to be like a breadbasket of mess.
Exactly.
You have all these like convening little talking heads all over, and then you have Torts in the middle.
No, it's going to be you couldn't write a better script in terms of if he was going to come back.
That's the team to come back to for sure.
Pure entertainment's sake. It's just going to be beautiful. Because
in my opinion, that shuts down all of the rumors of Claude Giroux going back to Philly because that ain't gonna happen now. Poor Tippett now. He's
that's right.
This mess.
That's right. Watch him turn Tippett into something.
Yeah.
Jeez, wouldn't that be something? Jeez,
that'd be hilarious. But Torts his old defense, so probably the most they're gonna get him was like 10 goals again.
Yeah, I still say
he'll get 20 goals season.
He'll eventually, he needs to be on a team somewhere where you can kind of hide him on the 3rd line and let him develop, and they're not having cup aspirations, and there's not the pressure for him. You gotta. He's taking a while to develop. I mean, like look at Markstrom. I mean, Markstrom took forever, right? Yeah. So
now he's good.
And then, so speaking of goalies, there was some goalie movement too, as well, right?
Yeah, with the Vanacek trade, it was like Vanacek to New Jersey for like a second, I believe. I want to say, like he basically got moved into New Jersey, and Billy Husso, who had a really, really good season in a super small sample size. If you thought Chris Drieger had a small sample size with the Panthers, this guy played like 30 games. I want to say he had an amazing like a 2-goal against average or something like that. Like he was a top 5 goalie in both those stats. But this is a super small sample size. He gets traded to Detroit as a free agent. Like he's a unrestricted. It's not like he has restricted free agent rights to the Detroit Red Wings. You know, the Atlantic gets more stacked.
Yeah.
And then he signs a $4.975 million deal, 3 years with the Red Wings.
4.9 per or total?
No, per AAV.
Per.
Yeah.
Holy moly! Wow.
I mean, Detroit has the money, but that's kind of a lot. I mean, Detroit isn't ready to contend until another 3 more years, in my opinion.
I mean, that's like what Varlamov and Leonard and everybody got the year that we signed Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that, if you
Drieger got 3.5.
Yeah, Drieger got the shaft just in every possible.
I
will go to my grave, and you'll never convince me that they told Drieger, hey, you're gonna be the backup. Nobody will ever convince me. He could have had so many suitors, but that's a different video. Yeah, and then you pronounced this name right, Georgiev.
Oh yeah, Alexander Georgiev. Georgiev. He's what else? He gets traded for, I believe, a second round and a third and a fourth to Colorado.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, thanks for nothing, Darcy Kemper.
I know Darcy Kemper is walking. Joe Sakic confirmed it at draft day yesterday. He's walking.
Well, yeah. I mean, all he did was outduel Andrei Vasilevsky in the Stanley Cup Finals to win a cup, and
gets a stick in the eye. Meanwhile,
just mad disrespect.
He is so good. Like, he's very underrated. I ragged on him a lot in the playoffs, but now realizing he had an eye injury, like a stick went into his eye.
Yeah, stick went into his eye. Yeah.
Like, he did really, really good. He's so underrated. He was with the horrible team like the Coyotes, and he held great numbers. Like, whoever gets him a good contract, under $7 million for sure.
Right.
Like, they'll get a good deal.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's a very interesting situation because it's not like this guy from New York is completely proven, right? Yeah. Okay, he's not going to have anywhere to go. He's not. He has no future because it's just Shesterkin.
Yeah, and then the Rangers have this like young rookie, Garand, I believe his name is. He's looking to be really, really good as well.
Right.
So. Yeah, but now the goalie market, there's 2 guys, Jack Campbell and Darcy Kemper. There's 3 teams. The Edmonton Oilers, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Washington Capitals. We're looking for a goalie.
Well, there's another one that's available.
Yeah.
I know one more that's available I'm telling you.
Uyghur could get you a haul.
It worked so perfectly. To Edmonton, you just throw in Uyghur so that Edmonton will take the full salary. And what happens after that? That gives us $15 million in cap space. And all we're really down is one defenseman because Knight even if Knight just equals Bob, right? We'd save $15 million in cap. I know it's never going to happen. I know. I'm going to wish it into existence though, damn it. Right?
Yeah. And then, you're talking about a Uyghur trade. So let's compare last season to this season.
Right.
Uyghur had more points, I believe. I want to say, Uyghur had more points than Seth Jones this season than last season. He had more Norris votes, and he has a cheaper contract. Uyghur's expiring UFA, correct? Yes. And Seth Jones got traded have 1 year left on his contract. He got traded to Chicago. The exchange was a high-end defenseman, Adam Boqvist, a second-round pick, and 2 firsts. If you think Uyghur can get you a third, you're crazy. He can get you, if you want to compare apples to apples with Seth Jones and Uyghur, both guys love analytically for most part.
Right.
But sometimes hated by the fans or considered overrated. Uyghur could fetch you a haul if you really, really want to trade him.
Yeah.
I know more than half the Panther fans do, but I wouldn't be opposed to keeping him.
Well, look, the money has to be there, right? So there's not enough. Well, what do we got? We got, let's just say we had the 3 million. And then next year we're going to have maybe 9 because if you said we had the 3 plus the Yandel hit, so that's 9.
And Gudis is off as well.
And Gudis comes off as well. Is there enough money to? Maybe there's enough money there for the Huberdeau and Uyghur extensions.
Huberdeau, I think he can get He's gonna get 9.5 and above. But he's gonna get long term. I mean, Chris Letang, who's 35 years old, got 6 years at $6 million.
That's crazy. That's crazy. No, I'm assuming Huberdeau would get the same deal as Barkov.
I think a little bit less, but that's it.
I think he'll. I don't know. But even if he gets the same, we're going to need between what Uyghur gets, between what the two of them get, we're going to need to have an extra 6-7 million in cap space for that to happen. So, I mean, I suppose that there is the money there for us to do that. But then, of course, you have all these other decisions with Bobrovsky and Knight. And remember, Knight's on an expiring contract as well. So everything is just so complicated at this point.
Moving parts.
I don't see a way. I mean, we're not going to be able to add guys unless somebody goes. And so, and then of course you end up in this endless loop of, is it worth getting rid of this guy to keep this guy or this guy? I mean, it's just like,
that's only because of Bobrovsky. That's the only reason. You're paying your goalie $10 million. That's what happened. That's what, Tampa and Montreal has to deal with Carey Price and Vasilevsky paying that much, but they were worth it at the time.
Well, the Vasilevsky deal, I mean,
that's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I'd give him like $15 million.
The Vasilevsky deal is worth it. The Bobrovsky deal, I mean, basically him and Knight, for lack of, the numbers weren't that different. You know what I mean? They basically had the same numbers.
Yeah.
Right. And
I just wish we didn't go long term with Bobrovsky. If his deal was like 4 or 5 years, you have Knight getting developed and getting ready. He has Knight's bridge deal. And when Knight's bridge deal is over, you have 10 million cap space, but we had to go 7 years because Allen.
Yeah, it's 4 more seasons, right?
Yeah, this was his 3rd season, so this is gonna be his 4th. So next offseason he'll have 3 years.
Yeah, that's too much. Spencer Knight, when he's had the opportunity
to play, 2 years too much. Yeah,
it's too much when we did that. And I mean, a lot of us said that when it happened. It was like, why'd we give him 7 years? We just drafted Spencer Knight.
Yeah.
And immediately blocked him and created this situation where,
Yeah. They were so scared of losing Luongo, they kind of like panicked. Like when Luongo announced his retirement, because he technically had 2 more years. He was meant to retire this season. Like his contract ended this season.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, his hip, unfortunately,
41 years old.
And that was part of the reason why it was so hard to get Luongo traded back, because that contract was just abysmal.
Yeah.
It was
he said it himself.
Yeah.
He said my contract sucks.
Yeah. And somebody was going to have to be willing to, eat the last couple of years at some point when he, you know what I mean? And he probably, I'm sure in hindsight, he probably feels like maybe he played the 1 year too many, but we were still thinking we were in a window there, but that's water under the bridge. So,
yeah.
Well, what else? There was one more.
There's like 2 cap dump trades, which could help set the market for Hornqvist's cap dump, because that's what it's going to be called. That's what it's going to be.
Right.
Yeah. Peter Mrazek, who you thought Hornqvist is not worth his money. Peter Mrazek, $3.8 million. Absolutely abysmal. I mean, this guy was out of the crease for most of his goals. Like, he was like above the blue. There's this one goal. It went in like a mile an hour like this, and he let it in. And basically what this really caught, he was like, nobody was taking him. So what the Leafs did, they traded their 1st round pick, 25th overall, plus Mrazek to the Blackhawks for 38. So that's one market set. Now you have Zach Kassian, which I call useless on ice.
Right.
He's like, he punches you on ice.
Right.
The Oilers traded the 29th overall pick, their 2nd and 3rd, and Kassian in exchange for the 32nd overall. Yeah. Kassian was 3 point, but Kassian has term. He has like 2 more years.
Right.
Versus Mrazek has 1 year, but he was absolutely abysmal, and he's a goalie. Right.
It's just funny that we're sitting here talking about the Hornqvist deal, and we took on Hornqvist because of the crappy Matheson contract.
Yeah. I'm happy we don't have like 4 or 5 more years of Matheson, so it's worth it. I mean, a buyout wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you want to save assets.
Well, that's the thing, is that
it's not horrible.
it wouldn't, right? No, it wouldn't be horrible, and you wouldn't have to. We're kind of out of assets to give up. We've been
You
doing
don't want
this
to get
for
the young
so
guys.
long, giving up assets to get ourselves out of bad deals.
Yeah.
And I think we've got one more round of that this year. I mean, what I don't remember if it was you or somebody else who made the point about Bobrovsky, and it's like his trade value is not going to be higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's gonna be difficult, and a no move clause can change the whole aspect.
Right.
It's gonna be tough. Like I don't even want to think about it. Like I just look forwards, touch your, let's see what we can do. Like I don't even worry about the goalie.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is where would that money come from this year? It's not there.
You look at like maybe Brandon Montour, but
you'd have to. The only now one of the lesser painful ways, if you didn't want to get rid of Hornquist, is you could tell Anthony Duclair that he's hurt for the whole season, and there's $3 million, and then you could probably get the rest of the money if you wanted to move Gudis.
Yeah,
and I'm not a huge fan of moving Gudis.
I'd rather move Montour.
You'd rather move Montour?
It's $1 million more, and we have 3 offensive-minded D-men better than him: Forsling, Uyghur, and Ekblad.
I mean, I guess if you can re-sign Uyghur, you got to be sure that you can re-sign Uyghur.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. You got to because you can't lose Uyghur and Montour. And then you went from position of strength to the opposite of that. And the other part to that, we've talked about this, is that at some point, could somebody from the minors like come up and like do something and be, because really, in terms of guys we've drafted, let's go down the lineup here.
Yeah.
I think the last guy, I mean, Lundell's a separate situation. I mean, I'm talking about, 3rd and 4th and 5th round picks coming in.
Sort of.
Productive.
Is one of my favorite like later round picks, sort of. And he's the forward, everyone talks about him. He has a year, he's done with major juniors. He's going to AHL next season, I got a feeling. He won the WHL champion. He got traded. He was a point per game in the major juniors. I really, really like him. Big guy, center. I think he still has 2 more the next season, and maybe he'll probably join the Panthers in the 23-24 season.
23-24. Okay. Can he play wing? Because we're flush.
I think he can play wing. He should be able to.
I wouldn't want to be a center that can only play center in our organization because they're like, where? Right.
Yeah, then we have Mackie Samoskevich. I really like him. He'll definitely fill out once we start to lose Duclair and Verhaeghe to free agency, because they're gonna want their money eventually. 4 years from now, I'm talking.
Yeah. No, I hear.
He'll be ready by then.
Right.
To fill in the top 6, in my opinion.
When was the last time we drafted a defenseman that I think Uyghur?
In the first round?
Yeah. Well, but I mean, like, when was the last time we drafted a defenseman who developed in the minors and came up and was part of the 6? Uyghur. Never.
Yeah. Probably some like 7 or 60 that, played like 1 or 2 games, but that's it.
Yeah. No,
Matheson.
Matheson was the last guy that came up and was a viable,
but he was
a first round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a late first round. He was after that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's my point, because we were talking about, if we lost a Montour or a Uyghur, at some point your draft picks have to.
I believe it's John Ludwig. He had like an injury. Right. He had all he's shown was progression throughout all his levels. He just got him better and better. In his little AHL stint last season, he was really, really good with very, very limited ice time. He's someone I see. I mean, he was injured all of this season, so he's a year setback now. But he'll make an impact in the 23-24 season.
Right. So mainly, from what I'm hearing, between the minors and the cap thing, this year might be
Cole Schwint and Dennis Yanko if he's healthy. Those are the 3 guys.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have the second layer of Hutsko, Noel.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm high on Schwint. He's just got a hockey name.
He's a big guy. Yeah, he's a big guy, quick. He's very quick. And he has a great mind. He had an amazing rookie season in AHL Charlie, playing 3rd line minutes.
Those stats were 3rd line minutes?
He was on the 3rd and 4th line most of the time.
Jeez.
Yeah, they prioritize more of the veterans in the first and second line, Charlotte, because they remember to share it with Seattle.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, that's
So this is where you see this is where you see the real deal of these players.
Right.
Like next season.
Right. Well, that's going to have to happen because I still say, I mean, I've said we're going to lose somebody, and I suppose Marchment may be the guy. He's the one I didn't really want to lose, but Mammon was the safety valve there. You know, if we weren't going to be able to re-sign Marchment, figured, all right, we'll throw Mammon kind of like what Luosterainen just got with like $1.5 million and give him a 2-year deal. But now with Mammon gone, you lose Mammon, you lose Marchment. Somebody from that AHL is going to have to do it, you know, because it's not like losing Marchman suddenly gives us some cap space. That you know what I mean. That's the thing there. So
do you know like the Shea Weber deal that happened? It was basically Shea Weber. He in the last year's run he destroyed his knee. He wasn't going to play no longer. He was 36 at the time. Right. LTI Ironmans basically.
Right.
Got traded to Dadonov. You know Dadonov and Shea Weber, 1-for-1.
Right.
Word just happened that Duncan Keith retired. The Panthers, we know the Panthers are willing to spend with Vinny Viola. They're willing to spend money. Could you see, because he's technically paying like 5.5, that's his AAV, but I'm not sure how long he has 1 more year on his contract.
Right.
Could you see Hornquist going to Edmonton? Like he could fit there.
That was actually it was actually
you can trade Hornquist for Duncan Keith, and you know if you're worried about money, because Canada's always very tight about their money because you know, the changes and all that stuff.
I see. So he's going to retire, but he's still under contract right now. So, but there's no early retirement penalty like with Luongo.
Only towards Chicago.
So even if they traded him,
maybe not. I'm not sure. Actually,
right? See, that's
remember Shea Weber isn't retired yet. Yeah,
right. And we split that with Vancouver. Remember, we had to pay Luongo some, and Vancouver got the worst end of the deal actually. When everybody got screwed.
Yeah, maybe not actually nothing because he's retired. There's a difference between Shea Weber isn't retired yet. He's just super injured. Like he's unofficially retired.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe look at Oscar Klefbom, who is $4 million. He's a defenseman. He's not going to. Looks like he's been out for the last 2 seasons now.
Right.
He isn't retired yet because he's only like 28.
And you can leave a guy on. You can leave a guy on LTIR that long.
Yeah, I mean they have been. And
right.
They were able to get more defensemen. I mean, worst comes to worst, he gets okay, and we get a good, solid shutdown defenseman for another year.
I see what you're saying. So you could throw in a guy that's on LTIR and leave him there, and then if I see what you're saying. That's a risk.
Yeah,
it's all risk though at this point, which is why I'm trying to make it nice and clean, right?
It's weird. No, it's like so many little things.
Yeah.
And now we're heading down. We're heading down to the 4th round now. We only have 3 more rounds to go after that. And
did we? That's what we had was a 3rd round pick.
It was a 3rd round. Now we have a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, another 6th, and then a 7th.
I was looking at the draft, our draft history when I was doing a video last week, and Dale Talon. I mean, just
pass on Adam Fox, pass on DeBrincat.
Just the 1st round picks, are you hit and miss.
Yeah,
but there were 2 players. I think somebody else mentioned a 3rd who actually became like NHL players.
Yeah, Zach
he took after
and Jonas Duskor. Oh, after
that he took after the 1st round.
Yeah,
Hyman was one,
and Jonas Duskor,
and
Trocheck, and Jonas Duskor.
Okay, so
that's on the Kraken. He had 1 goal this season, but overall he's been good.
So that's 4 guys in what was it, 10, 11 years?
Yeah, 11.
It's not.
He was took over in 2010.
So it's
not. Kulikov. No, he didn't draft Kulikov. That was 2009. I don't think that was his year.
Yeah, no. I don't think he was. I didn't see Kulikov on the list when I saw that.
So there's like 4 guys. That's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. It wasn't. It was. You've got to have, and we're seeing that now. You've got to have hit on 1 every other draft, right?
Yeah. And that's what I like about Zito's draft. He has very underrated drafting past the 1st round.
Well, we have to see. I mean, we were hopeful, right? But what I mean by we have to see is we still have to see what these guys do when they come up and play, because my season preview 2 seasons ago, we had Borgstrom and Tippett penciled into the top 9. We as fans, we do the same thing. We watch them play in the minors. We think, okay, this guy looks like he's going to be the guy. And then he comes up and it's like I tried to will Owen Tippett into existence, and it just wouldn't happen for the kid, and now I forgot about that. Like you said, with Philadelphia, I forgot about that. Jeez. Right.
Poor Tippett. Yeah.
Oh man. Good grief.
Yeah.
If he misses any of the opportunities there, like he does here in the post game, Torts is going to be, I need that redheaded kid to hit, to take a shot, hit one of those shots. He's going to be all over him. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, there's one trend I noticed in the free agent market. You're looking at all these contracts. Nick Paul, Letang, they're going the long term. All of these contracts are going the long term.
The guys that are
I wouldn't be surprised if Giroux was a 3 or 4 year at a cheaper cap hit. I wouldn't be surprised now. I mean, Chris Letang's to 41.
Right. Right now, there's no money to do anything. I mean, literally, we're done. We're literally done. Unless
Marcus is getting traded. He has to. I'm sorry, but he kind of has to.
The only way I'm okay with that is if they put Duclair on full season LTI. I know they can't, they have to
half season.
If he comes back, his cap is going to hit.
Well, only until you activate him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he could wait there, hypothetically.
Well, that's what I mean is they have to.
You can do a Vegas,
right?
And Vegas got all these guys injured. They had Riley Smith injured. They put him on there. They got Mark Stone back. Eichel was injured. They had like a constant string back and forth.
Right, but the point is if we leave it, if we leave it, like let's say we get rid of Hornquist, and we get $3 million in cap relief, and we're able to combine that with the Duclair $3 million and sign Marchment, right? Then when Duclair comes back, if we bring him back before the end of the season, we're over the cap.
Yeah, there's this one guy that Zito signed, Anton Levski. He's a Finnish. He led all Liga in scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if he's our next diamond in the rough player. He can fit. He could be our next top 9 player.
Right.
Our hidden gem.
Well, somebody's going to have to come. I hate to lose Marchment, but somebody's going to have to do it.
I think we should prioritize. I know it's so weird. Who do we should prioritize? Claude Giroux, this veteran who can take you there. He played at a point per game with us. Take this Marchment had 1 year. That's it. 1 year of greatness. Ever not in as any other leagues he's done this well. Not in the ECHL, not in the AHL, not in his little juniors. None.
Right.
Then he all of a sudden he gets to 50 points or whatever, 45 points. It's a risk.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. But Hornquist, man, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll get my wish.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky and Rieger to Edmonton. All they got to do is just throw us a one. Give us next year's one. No cap retain, no salary retain, and we get $15 million in cap.
I don't mind that. Panthers they draft another player.
Panthers?
With the 125th overall pick in the NHL draft, the Panthers select another defenseman, Ludvig Jensen.
Okay.
He's from SK, so he's from the European League. There's probably gonna be more information. He's 6 foot. Out of SK, he put up 5 points in 47 games. So it looks like we're going for a defensive-minded defenseman.
Right. He's just 6 foot flat.
Yeah, 6 foot.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, Uyghur's only 6 foot. He's big or small?
I'm not sure. You don't realize it, but Ekblad's the biggest.
He's 6'4". Yeah,
he's 6'4". He doesn't look.
Gudis is 6 foot.
That's right. Yeah, but Gudis' beard make him look taller.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't look at it like you would look at Ekblad and Gudis, and you would think Gudis is bigger, and then you look at the stats and you're like, huh?
They're almost like a head taller.
Yeah, it's really odd. It's backwards. You know what I mean?
And then Bobrovsky is fairly small for goalie. He's only like what 5'11", 6
I don't
feet?
know about that. I think he's 6'1". He's not big. Not like Spencer
He's not
Knight.
huge.
No.
He's not like Spencer. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know it's weird. You see these guys, and it can be an illusion. You think because they play a certain way that they're a certain size, but they're not.
Yeah.
So, all right. Like I said, we're going to try to keep up with this once a week.
Free agency should be fun. So
yeah, we got about 4 days.
A lot of news in the next 5 days.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. It's going to. I mean, I can't believe we're sitting here on July 8th and we're out of cap. There's nothing. There's nothing can happen unless somebody goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go double check like cap friendly real quick because it probably got updated.
Well, we had 3 million, and we what?
Wow. Ben Sherratt. I mean,
right.
You're talking about up to like $10+ million to spend.
No, we have, and that's what that's that look on your face is where I got the last time I looked at it.
I didn't even look. I didn't realize that quick.
It's bad.
It's rough. That's
it's
for sure.
Bad.
Yeah.
We
still look at it. We have our top 6 set. We have most of our top. Sam Reinhart was playing on the 3rd line, and he was a point per game player.
Right.
He had one of the best Panther seasons of all time.
Right.
He's a first line player, no doubt. Like, I mean,
right.
I don't even want to think about it at this point. Take me to September.
Right. Like I said, a couple of these kids are going to have to come up. If nobody moves, a couple of these kids are going to have to come up and do the job. Because the more that you sit there and look at that cap friendly, and then you look at, wait, that guy and this guy and this guy and Spencer Knight. And it's just like, oh shit, somebody's got to go. Just no way.
Telling so much trouble. Yandel, the cap hit, that Bobrovsky. I mean, we're almost out of it. We're a couple years out of. We're almost there.
This is gonna be bad. This
is the worst of Talon's legacy right now.
Right, exactly. We're in it, and that's why we went all out this last year. We threw all the chips on the table.
And see what Claude Giroux does.
Yeah. We'll have to give him the hometown. He's got to give us the hometown discount. So
yeah, it's all up to him. We ain't gonna convince him. It's only him who's gonna convince himself.
Yeah,
like this. Like he used to go to Colorado or Carolina, and they can fit him.
Right. Yep, that's a good point. He may decide he made the wrong decision and go to Colorado.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I'm excited, but not excited. So.
Well, right now there's not for right now. What we're waiting for is we're either done or we have to figure out how are we going to be disappointed because somebody has to leave for somebody new to come in. So we're all just kind of like holding our breath on who that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean we're heading to the 5th round now. 23 more rounds left. Like how much longer till Hornquist gets traded or not?
Well, it doesn't have to be during the draft.
That's not the last day?
Honestly, I don't know. That's a good point.
In the comments section, you should put it down there.
Yeah.
I did my stew.
I thought that could work right up until free agency, but I'm not the rules expert there.
Yeah, I only know just because like franchise notes. I don't even know if that's like from NHL games. Like I don't know if that's even true.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
So in the comments, if you know, you can put it down.
Either that or with my luck, by the time this is uploaded, it will have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Obviously,
Bob,
clearly.
Uyghur, and Hornquist all to Edmonton.
All out the door. $20 million free.
Right. And what? We don't even want anything in return. Just take the contracts. We don't even need anything back. Just get us out of hell. You know what this team could do with $20 million in cap space?
A lot.
I'm just saying. I know we're playing in fantasy land.
You can get like Johnny Gaudreau and Philip Forsberg. Who cares? Goodbye, Marchman. Goodbye, Giroux. Like, you can go full offense.
I mean, we got the goalie. We got, you know what I mean?
We don't even need to. We can outscore them 9-8 every game.
9-8. Yeah, how'd that work out for us against Tampa?
Hey, Panthers are changing the way the teams. I mean, the Panthers offense are changing the way the teams are beginning formatted. Like the way the Panthers are playing. You look. There's no more top 6. The Panthers and Blues are the perfect example. Top 9.
Right.
You know, the Blues have their great top 9. Panthers have a great top 9.
It's just
Gross top 6.
It's
top
tough
9.
to do that in the cap era.
Yeah, but that's why you're relying on these small guys like Verhaeghe, $1 million for 2 years. That was, or you know, you find these little gems,
right?
You know, 30 goal Duclair, 10
I
goals.
Mean, are you still on cap friendly?
Yeah.
How many years do we have Lundell signed?
Well, we had his first contract, like, you know, this 3-year ELC, so 2 more seasons basically.
Yeah, 2 more seasons.
But he's basically those 5 took me 5 contracts that's gonna be expired on the forward side.
Right.
It's gonna be Sam Reinhart, who's gonna need a payday.
Good.
Anthony Duclair.
Yeah.
Ettila Sarinen, Ryan Lomberg, and Anton Lundell on the forward end. On the defense, we're talking Gustav Forsling and Brandon Montour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a mess.
It's a fun mess, though. It's a good mess.
It's right now. It's a good mess.
We haven't had this problem ever. Like, I mean, we finally made the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we're going to have to, it's going to be a different season. We won't have to worry about the President's Trophy curse.
No.
Let's just, and that I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I mean,
Tampa's getting slightly worse. You know, they lost McDonough. They might be trading Killorn in order to sign Palat.
Right. Well, that's what happens when you get good.
The Leafs are trading, you know, they might trade Tavares. I don't think they will, but they might trade Nylander, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to. They're paying
right,
like almost 40 after cap to 4 players.
Right.
If you think our cap situation is bad, like the Leafs are.
Yeah. No, I know. It's they need to raise the cap. That would solve everybody's problem.
I mean, we had $1 million. We're so happy we had $1 million. We wouldn't have been able to sign Love Serena.
Yeah.
If it was a flat cap.
Right.
We would have been over the cap by a couple of thousand.
Yeah, I know. The pandemic and not being able to raise the cap really is.
So many teams are relying on that with these long-term contracts.
Well, it's tough because, you know, I mean, the cap is there for a reason, but this ain't it.
Yeah, and you can't be like turning out that. I mean, it's for parity. You know, you can't have these Toronto Maple Leafs spend $100+ million to win the cup every year. Just get out of the first, try to get out of the first round. They
should have done it a little bit differently, because a lot of these contracts, like you said, they were signed with the idea that it would continue to raise. So you're doing your planning, and the contracts were already signed. So it's not like you can retroactively go, you know, I wish there would have been a mechanism to say,
we got lucky with COVID too, because Zito found all these players during COVID. You know, for Hagee for $1 million, he wasn't going to sign that.
Right.
Or even Duclair for like, what was it? Like $2 million for 1 year. And then he later on signed a 3x3. Right. Some people call that risky at the time. Now that looks like a great deal.
No, that was a great deal.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a mess. The NHL is a mess, but there's good upside. I mean, you look at the ESPN and the TNT, they make their viewership skyrocketed. Like that cap's gonna be raised a lot very, very soon.
Or, you know, or we could just, if Mason Marchand is willing to take $3 million, right? Then or even 3 this year. If he wants 4 by 4,
he can raise it, yeah.
Right. So, and then we told Duclair in January you have a setback. End of discussion, and it could work.
We hire the mafia. Like, you know,
yeah, I'll come down. I got no problem coming down and making sure Anthony Duclair can't get back on the ice for the last 30 games if it saves us Mason Marchand. Count me in. That'd be fun. By the way, FBI, I know you guys are listening. That's a joke. It's sarcasm. So I'm gonna end the video now before I get myself into trouble. All right, hockey fans.
This is fun.
Yeah. You guys are like, oh, now you can make it down. Now you can leave Fluffy alone. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in jail is where I'll be. So all right. Yeah, we're gonna do this once a week. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. And I got a good video. I got something fun coming out tomorrow. I wrote the script yesterday, and I'm going to film it, and I'll have that out tomorrow. So that'll be good. And then we're a week away from free agency, and we'll be back on the no rest train for a little bit. So appreciate all the support. Thank you, Alex, for doing this. We're going to call you Puck Monkey, Mr. Puck. I love it. You're so lucky.
Mr. Puck, I like that.
Yeah, Mr. Puck. Yeah. You can't change the name of the channel. All right, guys. We'll see you later.